And we are live. All right.
Woo!
All right, everybody. This is my baby sister.
Yo, what's up?
There we go. Uh, yes. Don't forget to hit the like, guys. Like button. Slap it like it owes you money. Uh, Tonight, we're going to be talking about G.I. Joe. Uh, both the comic book, mostly, but also the cartoon and the toys. Because, unlike me, Becca's actually got to go to JoeCon.
Nee, 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 nee.
Yeah, what was the one that you went to where they threw GI Joes with parachutes off of the top of the hotel?
Um, it was the first one I went to. I think that was like it wasn't the 25th anniversary. It was one of the big anniversaries.
Yeah, and I was like, why didn't you bring me some back?
They only had so many.
Because I mean, JoeCon's one of those is on my list of cons I do want to
Yeah,
go to.
yeah. And I mostly was there because no, that was the second JoeCon I went to. The
Yeah,
first JoeCon I went to was on my 22nd birthday. Yeah,
yeah,
my 20th or 22nd birthday. No, definitely was the 22nd. Yeah,
yeah.
because
You
it's in
don't know what we,
Minneapolis.
you do not know what we had to go through to get mom and dad to agree to that because they did not want you to go by yourself.
Nope. And
And
one of the main reasons was me doing check, and I know mom was very insistent on me doing check-in and talking with the den mother, aka the wife of the guy who was coordinating everything.
yep. Yeah, and I mean, heck, mom was the same way when I was going to conventions, and it wasn't until she talked to Barbara and learned about the whole con mom subculture that that there are ladies that go to cons that look after the younger con goers that are there by themselves.
Yeah, I tried to pay that forward. That's like one of the last hero cons we went to. I was filming some teenagers wanting to do their thing on the cosplay stage, so I filmed it for them.
Yep. And this year's Hero Con was pretty fun. Uh, the fact that we were finally able to get Brian to go.
Yeah, I mean, Heroes Con was the fact that he went. It just sucked that, of course, my birthday weekend I had taken everything off and I was sick as a dog.
Yeah, it was it and
It was my luck.
but but like I said, Brian actually had a good time, and he actually said that if he's got advance notice next year, he'll go.
Yeah, which is good because it usually falls around either my birthday or Father's Day, so that gives them something to do for Father's Day.
Exactly, and it's the fact that he got to go with Zobug,
Yeah,
and Zobug and her friend both did their made their own cosplay costumes,
yep,
and they had a blast. And we only got to do it for that Sunday instead of the whole weekend like we'd originally planned to do.
yep, because I took the whole weekend off.
Yeah, so next year we'll make sure that we can actually all go for the whole weekend.
Yeah, I'm just hoping
And
I don't get sick again like that because that was awful.
yeah, it wasn't fun. It was not fun at all. But it's like this. I'm looking at it that HeroCon is the one. It's the one con that's still in the area that I can go to.
And it's also still family friendly, unlike what they've been doing to Con Carolinas.
Yeah, I mean, Con Carolinas was awesome. It was family friendly. They kept all the adult type, not safe for work stuff
After dark.
after dark. They wouldn't, and they basically let you know, oh, you can do your sexy cosplay and stuff, but try to keep it after 6. That way, the people bringing their kids don't have to explain why you're dressed like a sexy bunny rabbit.
Yeah.
And why is she dressed like the women from the Playboy magazine? never mind. You know that, and they changed that stuff up, and it's sad. It really is. Hey, Carlos Fish and Christian, how you doing, Bubba? And Brain Shatterer, hi there. Uh, but yeah, it's conventions. If as long as they're you can keep the daylight hours family friendly, you
Mm-hmm.
have a lot more people come to it, and that's the deal. Plus the fact you'll have parents that are not as iffy about letting their kids go to cons.
Like
Even
like that one friend of Zoe's whose parents were like, no,
yeah,
changed their minds the last minute.
hmm because if I remember right, Zoe it was supposed to be Zoe and three of her friends.
Yeah, and I think only one, because I think only one went, didn't it? Didn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah, only one ended up going, um, which was sad.
Yeah, because she
And
was so
they
looking forward to that.
because they made their own costumes, and that to me was like a big deal,
Hmm.
because that to me that's one of the best parts about going to a hero con, a comic book convention or a sci-fi convention is the creativity of the cosplayers.
Exactly. That's like when we would go to Con Carolinas. They always had awesome.
Hmm And what I mean, I've been doing this stuff since I think my first convention was in '89, right after I got into the Navy. But I went to my first sci-fi convention,
Yeah,
and
because before
I
that, we didn't even know they were a thing.
yeah. And the funny thing was, I started designing costumes for people that were doing costuming at the age of 18, and I was doing a pretty good job of it. So much so that I was being invited to go to conventions to be a judge for the costume contests, and so, all before the term cosplaying ever came to the United States.
Yep.
And so the cosplay stuff is something that's dear to my heart. The creativity of it is just amazing, and seeing these young people doing it is awesome. Hey, Siggy. Hey,
Yep.
Crazy Horse. Is Alice with you, Crazy? And are you feeling any better? Because Crazy Horse is not feeling so hot. But
Because that's like when I went to the first the first Joe Con I went to. I don't really remember seeing that many people in costume. It was more about the toys and somewhat about the comics. It was mostly the toys.
yeah, at that point in time, that was what?
That was back in. Okay, I turned 18 in 2001. So yeah, that was like early 2000s.
Yeah,
So it wasn't as big with costuming as it was.
yeah. I think it was like 2003,
2000,
maybe.
yeah, I think it was 2003 because it was in
And
Minneapolis that year.
and but yeah, it's
It
the,
was nice. I mean, I was a little overwhelmed because my uh, ADHD brain or whatever it's called,
yeah. It,
and it was pretty damn overwhelming. And I even had it. I remember it was when Devil's Due had the comic book rights, and they were doing their run,
mm-hmm.
and I was super excited. And I met was it Josh Blaylock, who owned Devil's Due and was behind the whole GI Joe run, and like and I remember being this nervous, not quite 20, 21-year old, like super, like I've never met a celebrity before. He just laughed and was like, yep, I'm totally a celebrity. I get mobbed in the grocery store all the time. And he was nice. And so was his and so was Tim Seeley, the artist at the time. Oh god, he was super nice.
Yeah, Larry Hama, though, as much as I like his work, he
Yeah.
he's allowed himself to be sidelined, and that really
Mm.
gets to me.
That's like I met him at the con that was in Atlanta where they had the big anniversary where they did the toy drop off of this with the parachutes. Those things went fast. I didn't even really have a chance to grab one because, like, the second they landed, people were jumping on them.
Yeah.
Because I went to the top and I was watching them do the drop, and I remember getting jump scared by a dude with one of the news crews who swung their camera at me. I'm like, whoa! But it was.
Siggy's hoping that Alice gets better because at the moment it's Crazy Horse who's under the weather today. So I'm keeping him in my prayers.
Yeah.
If they were feeling a little bit better, they'd be joining in to talk. That way we could also hit on a little bit about any questions you got about what's been going on up in Lake Lure.
Yeah.
Oh, you're both sick? Oh no, that's not good.
Oh shit.
You better get better, man.
I hope it's not what I had last month. It took me over a week to get better.
Oh yeah.
It was funny for a while. I was sounding. That's how I sounded. My dog was looking at me like it just like, you sound like my squeaky toy. What the hell? The bombastic, confused side eye from that dog. Like,
yeah.
What?
But like I said, cons are awesome, and you get to. It's one of the things that really is hard to put into words for people who's never gone. But
yeah.
For those of us who like various fandoms, conventions is a place that you can go to and be surrounded by other people who odds are like the same stuff you do.
That's like when the first time that we went with Zoe, and I was of course keeping an eye on her so that Laura wouldn't freak out because she was wandering off, and more than once she squealed in excitement because she recognized somebody and she ran up to them and they would exchange Instagrams and stuff like that because it was stuff that she was interested in. I'm like, see, you just had to find your people.
Yep, and that's the whole point, When
you just had to find your people.
When we took her last year to her first convention, which was Heroes Con last year.
Yep.
And I saved up extra money to do it that way because I knew she'd see something that she would want to get.
I know she saw some really awesome stuff and she was like, I want that and I want that. And she just looked at the price. She's like, oh, I'm like, you can have either do 2 small items or you can do 1 big item.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to choose what you want the most because that's coming from me for your birthday.
Yep.
And then you got
she got her a stuffed Eevee.
Yep, because you got her. I think you got her the Eevee. I got her that really pretty headband that I think she still has up in her room.
Yeah, and it's.
So it had the fox ears on it, and she liked that. That's one thing I like about the cons is all the crafting stuff.
Yeah,
that's one thing I miss about Con Carolinas. They had such beautiful. Their floor was amazing, and they had such amazing crafted things.
But they kept wanting to stay at the small hotel that was just too tight.
Because when they were at the big one where we stayed, oh God, they had so much room to spread their stuff out. It was wonderful. That's where they should have been when George R.R. Martin was there.
Yeah, it was so crowded when George R.R. Martin was there. I couldn't get around with my crutches.
No, and God forbid
much less if I went in my wheelchair.
Yeah.
Because
that's like when I went to the first the first Joe Con, the one in Minnie. It was super crowded. That was part of what drove my anxiety through the roof. I literally found a spot near where the Devil's Due table was set up. They had an empty kind of. I guess somebody had canceled last minute, so there's no one sitting there, no table. So I just kind of sat down and chilled, sketched, and occasionally would walk over there to talk to them and get art tips and talk about Joe.
And I mean, G.I. Joe, for those who don't know, I collected the G.I. Joe comics. It was one of my first ever comic book subscriptions I ever got. My grandparents got it for me for Christmas. And that was a subscription to G.I. Joe and classic X-Men.
Not the bullshit that they're putting out now.
Yeah. the Classic X-Men was reprints of early X-Men comics. And Alice says that that Crazy Horse has never been to a con. That is going to change this upcoming year. We were going to take him with us to Heroes Con next year.
So he better brace himself.
Yep, because Alice has said repeatedly that her and Crazy are coming down here to get me and take me over to where Ginger Wolf works whenever she does her dancing. So that way Crazy can go to the strip club and not be the only dude there. So that's going to be fun. And I've made the statement of I'm wondering if I should take Kraken with me.
Unleash Kraken! Unleash him!
Problem is, I have a bad feeling that he might not be coming home because somebody will be like, "I'm taking him home with me."
And then you'll be stuck with Prince.
Well, you know how much of a cuddle buddy that Kraken is. He loves being held and cuddled and petted. Prince, on the other hand, he's a little butthead.
He lives up to his name. He is haughty and little butthead.
Plus the fact he's fat because he eats all of Kraken's food.
He's a bully. He needs to have a run-in with Idget. She may be old, but she'll put him in his place.
Oh, yeah. Now,
especially on her turf. Bring him down here and she'll whoop his ass.
But like I said,
baby girl, yes you will. Who's your girl, Idget?
But like I said, these cons. I mean, I loved going to Con Carolinas. That was my home con. I supported Con Carolinas from the very start. Heck, Con Carolinas got its roots lies in Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
And Rock of Ages was the Rogues of Charlotte's convention. It was the last convention that James Doohan went to. I got to meet James Doohan, spent the time that he was there holding court because he was supposed to go and be signing autographs and stuff in the big con room. And instead, he went and he took over the bar. He's like, this is where I'm going to be at. Boom. And he stayed in the bar the whole time. And he saw my the artwork I had drawn of all the original series cast, and he loved it.
Yeah, I remember you were working on that, and you messed up a few times, so you gave me some of those and let me draw on them.
Yep.
To try to finish it. I remember that.
And I also got to meet David Prose. I can't remember the name of the actor who played Chewbacca, but he was there. There were so many big names that came, and Rock of Ages it proved that Charlotte could support a major sci-fi fantasy convention that could rival Dragon Con.
But they just have to make sure they have it in a good freaking space, because like where they've been doing Con Carolinas for the past time, no, it's too small now. They need to actually get one of the nicer hotels and deck it out and dedicate it.
Mm-hmm. Probably with Dragon Con, it's not family friendly.
Not anymore.
Well, when I went in 2005, it wasn't family friendly then.
I heard it started off family friendly, and then it just kind of snowballed. Yeah. Kind of like what they're doing to Con Carolinas now.
Exactly.
Because I was talking to somebody at the Heroes Con that I went to, and they were mentioning it, and they were an old timer, and they said it used to be family friendly, and then it just stuff started just creeping in.
Yep, and I mean, when I went in 2005, I was riding an elevator, and there was this one girl. Her costume was jewelry and body paint, and nothing else. And her best friend were riding the elevator back up to their room so they could touch up her paint because, well, there were streaks of the body paint that had came off because she was so sexually excited. Yeah,
and there was kids in the room in the elevator. I remember you telling me about that.
Yep, right at eye level. And I was like, damn. I wouldn't be freaking out if this was at night, but this was in midday.
Yeah,
with little kids around. You know,
she had her exhibitionist kink going.
Yes, and
that's if if you into that, go to a club specifically for that. Don't just walk around in public, because that's taking non-consenting people into your scene, and that is one of the no-nos from what I've read and researched.
That's how it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're
Who
allowing you
cares?
to force it on other people.
Yep.
You know, I know a lot of trans people who just want to be able to live their life the way they want to live it. They don't want to force it on anybody.
Yeah, they just want to be accepted as a normal, as a person, nothing else.
But you have the activists that have come in and really screwed the pooch in the bad way.
Yeah,
And,
sometimes literally.
Uh-huh. So, oh man, monkeypox. Oh god, that stuff still pisses me off. But anyway, but you got into GI Joe because of me.
Yep, you had your comics and stuff laying around. I was more interested in the comics than the toys. Although I did take a couple of the more attractive ones to replace Ken with my Barbies.
Yep,
because Ken looked like a sissy boy, and I want.
Yep. And
because
when I was in the Navy, okay, I went into the Navy the 10th of July, 1989, and finished boot camp and AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. My plane was the last plane to leave the O'Hare Airport there up at Great Mistakes, right before they closed the airport because of snow. But came home and if I remember right, that was Thanksgiving, because I ended up spending Christmas there on Eisenhower. It was the first Christmas away from home.
Yeah.
And it was something else. But Mom had tossed all of my stuff except for the stuff that you had hid, which was my comic books and some of my toys. And the majority of it was my G.I. Joe stuff. And you had been reading my G.I. Joe comics, playing with my toys, and wearing my clothes.
She tossed your crap because I found your nudie mags.
Hey, that's not... They weren't mine. They were Dad's.
They were in your stuff, and I found them, so she blamed you and tossed.
Yeah, I know. But
that's why that happened. So take it up with Dad if he hid his stuff in your... Yeah.
No, I stole them from him.
Oh, but yeah, that's why stuff got tossed.
But it was my clothes. That's the part that got me. I ended up going out to the fleet with no civilian attire. Why do you think the entire time I came home, I was wearing my uniforms?
And it was a while ago, but I think something got into your clothes.
No, the Mom tossed them.
Yeah, because I remember she had she tossed some of the stuff because of the nudie mags, and then there was something else she had to toss because she couldn't get it clean. I don't know if a critter got into it.
I don't know, but
because we did have a bunch of cats at the time.
Yeah, but like I said, heck, if we had enough cats down there, y'all wouldn't be dealing with all the rodents and snakes and stuff you've been having to deal with.
Oh, the snakes are fine. They can handle the rodents.
Because
it's just a harmless, cute little black snake. His name is Blackie. He lives under my kitchen sink.
If Mama was there, that house would have been burned down by now.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't burn it down when we saw the one underneath the washing machine. Surprisingly, Agent is surprisingly chill with it. The one under the washing machine, I guess because she saw it, she barked at it, but the one under the sink she didn't see.
But anyway, the comics were like really good, well written. The history behind G.I. Joe was pretty interesting because originally they threw the idea for it as Nick Fury's son leading a special team that was going to be of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents against Hydra.
Yeah.
And that fell through, and instead when Hasbro approached Marvel Comics about the possibility of doing a G.I. Joe comic, they took all that stuff and turned it into what we got with G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. And the comic those characters have survived all this time, and
Mm-hmm.
and that storyline is still going on to this day.
They're super iconic, and of course, Mr. Hammond made a much of it, and he also made sure to do his research, and he tried to insist on that for every other writer is do your research. I love one of the things I loved when I was reading the ones that was published back when your originals was all the little captions about stuff that was military logo, like breaking down the lingo, breaking down what the equipment was.
Mm-hmm. And it was quite educational. And
It
when I was in
was.
the Navy, we would go and buy the GI Joe toys, and we would assemble the play sets and stuff like that in the lounge. And a lot of times we'd be playing with them, and some of the guys would be douchebags about it. And one of them actually broke a couple of them until the other guys found out that we were putting these toys and stuff together, and then we would take and give them to kids of the children of other people on the ship.
Yeah.
And that were having a hard time when it came to money stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So we would buy the kids toys. It's like we would rather have spent the money on something like that than just go out and spend it on
Booze and women.
Booze and women, you know, just blowing the money. It's like at least a child is getting something good out of it.
Yep, because that's what Dad taught you.
And then we would actually sit there, and sometimes they would sit there and want us to play with these action figures and these toys that we had just gave them, and we would have a blast. And that was the best part, you know, is seeing the joy on these kids' faces.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that was what Dad taught us. You know, little kids have no control over the situation that they're in, and making their lives a little bit more comfortable is always a good thing. Okay.
Yep.
And I keep telling people, you know, be the positive change in the world that you want. Be it. That's the only way we're going to have a positive change on this world and make it a better place is by us doing it. We can't just say, oh, somebody needs to do this.
Do it.
Guess what?
You're somebody.
You're the person that can do that. You have no control over what other people do, but you have total control over what you do. So be the positive change. And there's a lot of, I mean, the G.I. Joe comics, they introduced us to some really awesome characters. Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow are the two ones that stand out the most to me because those are the ones I identified the most with as a kid. And like I said, the comics were like really, really good. The storylines stood up, and they still do. You can go back and read those comics today, and the story is still strong. It still resonates to this day.
Yep.
But a lot of this new modern stuff, it doesn't even stand up a year to 2 years later.
Yeah. Because it's bad. They take the trends and use that, and then it's gone within sometimes a week.
Mm-hmm.
At 8, and you can tell if it's going to age. That's like a Suicide Squad, Jared Leto's Joker. The way he's dressed, it's very fad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not going to really stand up well in the next however many years.
Heck, it doesn't really stand up now.
Mm-mm.
Especially all the tattoos and stuff that just took away from Joker.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating. But like I said, on the comics, you had some of these really awesome storylines. it was only every now and again that Hasbro would push. We're about to release a new line of toys. These are the new characters. We need you to push them
or get rid
and
of.
and well, when Larry Hama was still in charge and he was introducing new characters, he did it naturally, and they came out pretty good.
Yep, that's like when he introduced my fictional husband, Beachhead. Wayne, I love you.
Because he also, when he introduced Quick Kick, Alpine, and the fighter pilot that flew
Ace?
the
No,
the guy that flew Conquest,
yeah.
the inverted wings, because he broke the video game there at the Chaplain Assistance Motor Pool's rec room. That I still think that was one of the funniest things ever. Leave my boy Percy alone. Robot about to beat the heck out of the other Joes because they were trying to bully Percy into opening up the armory without permission. Leave my boy Percy alone. That was awesome. Yeah, Flint was a douchebag, but man, he was loyal to his friends, And he when he saw the Cobra Eels coming out of the water, he's like, "Oh shit, we got to do something," and sent Lady J back to warn everybody while he kept the Eels occupied, and he took one hell of an ass whooping, but still kept fighting,
Yep.
and that earned my respect. but yeah, the storylines, they held up. They actually made, you got to see Cobra. Yeah, they're bad guys, but you see where they came from. And like Cobra Commander, he idolized his older brother, who was an alcoholic dumbass.
Yep.
And I still don't understand why he blamed Snake Eyes, because his alcoholic brother was drinking and driving and killed Snake Eyes' entire family. When Snake Eyes had nothing to do with it. He was actually at the airport waiting for them to come get him.
Yep.
And
that just shows, I mean, that's kind of realistic because there are people who will blame everyone but the actual perpetrator. We see exactly. We see that now.
Mm-hmm. Hell, you have an entire political party that does that. Let's blame the victim and not the victimizer.
Mm-hmm.
And that pisses me off because I've been in that position of being the victim. Our family has been in that position. I mean, I still remember when I was in the Navy and the little hoodlums broke into the house down and sliced up Mom and Dad's waterbed, trashed the entire house.
Yep.
Stole half of the CDs that Mom and Dad used for the DJ work that they did.
Smashed them over rocks. We found them later.
Yeah, and
I think one of them tried very untoward things towards Laura, and she testicular torsion.
Yeah, and I mean
they were not good people.
No, they weren't. And
they were awful.
Because up until then, Mom and Dad, we very rarely here in Waxhaw locked our doors.
Yeah, we never locked our doors before that. After that, the rule was go stay at Grandmama's until they got home.
Yep. That changed a lot.
Yep.
Because of it. And Mom and Dad, doing the Hickory Nut Gorge EMS, then coming off the mountain, they tried to do the EMS stuff here in town, and they wouldn't even let Dad be part of the volunteer fire department because he was overqualified.
He should have been fire chief.
He would have. They actually told him to go to Charlotte, and he would actually they would hire him on the spot as a full-time firefighter because of his qualifications alone. And his then because each of the different categories, because on the mountain, Dad was a firefighter, an auxiliary police officer, as well as a paramedic, and
Hmm.
he had the highest qualifications in all three of those areas.
That's one reason why in GI Joe some of my favorite characters was like Lifeline, especially. He was one. Him and Doc were my favorites because Mom and Dad.
Mm-hmm. And
Barbecue was fun.
yeah, and a lot of
And of course the canine with their canines, Law and Order.
yeah, you had Mutt
Yep.
and
And
Junkyard.
Junkyard.
Uh, no, people don't get just the type of people that Mom and Dad were, because they paid for their the training, the education, the equipment that they used. They paid for it all out of pocket. It wasn't other people giving us the money to do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
all the work Dad did as a mechanic. I mean, he built some of those ambulances from frames up.
mm-hmm. He built the fire, the brush trucks. He built those. The only things he didn't build were the fire engines that were hand-me-downs from big city. If I remember right, the ones that we got, the first ones that we got for Bills Creek had came from, I think, Asheville.
Yeah, I think so. Because didn't Dad cuss a lot about they didn't do proper maintenance?
Yeah, I do know that the first ambulance that we had for Hickory Nut Gorge EMS was also a hand-me-down, and Dad was after the fundraiser that Dr. Birch did. They got a whole bunch of money, and Dad went to the military surplus depot and bought the vehicles, and then stripped them down to their frames and rebuilt them as emergency rescue vehicles. And it was, like I said, my Dad was a hero, pure and simple. But there's no other way of putting it. We did so much for the community, and all we asked for was be able to buy a piece of property so we could make that our permanent homes. And we never was able to get a piece of property that we could actually have lived on. Because one of the locations, every time it rained, it turned into a little lake.
Yep.
And the other one was the bend in the road that people used that dirt road to race on.
And people kept having accidents. So many accidents.
And the people who owned the property that was trying to sell it to us said, well, if you've got children, they can't play outside, and you don't want to have pets. And it's like, you definitely don't know how to sell a piece of property, do you? But yeah, it was ridiculous.
That was actually one of the main reasons Mom wanted the entire property fixed in when we first moved down here, because she was like, "Fuck them," basically.
Because of all the stuff that we went on, like the neighbors with their Dobermans, that because you guys were still having nightmares after what happened to Blackjack. Because if I remember right, you were 2 or 3 years old when that happened.
Yeah, I actually have no real memory of it, and I think I blocked that because of how traumatic it was.
Yeah, but you had the worst of the nightmares.
Yeah, and as far as I think I don't remember is because my brain made me forget, which is possible. I mean, look how much I forgot from my middle school and high school years from the bullying.
Yeah, and
it's not a healthy coping mechanism, but my brain does it.
Yeah. Well, the whole bullying thing really pissed me off. That was one of the reasons why I bought Zobug, the body camera and the pin cameras.
Yes.
To catch those little assholes. And Laura Jane said that when they realized that she had cameras on her, that they started leaving her the hell alone.
Yep, because they knew they'd get caught, and their mumsy and daddy can't say, "My angel would never."
Yep. I, it really
Especially in the
pisses
age
me
of
off, man.
that's one of the few things about the age of social media. You catch them in the act, you put it on the internet, they can't do shit about it.
Yep.
I mean, it's like look at all the cops in their body cams.
Well, the thing with the body cams and cops, those, oh, we're finally going to be able to catch all the police brutality and everything. And what they ended up proving was no, people were just assholes to the cops.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to G.I. Joe.
Yes.
All right. One of the best storylines they did was the Fall of the Pit. You remember that one?
Yes.
When they figured out where the pit was at, and they because of the whole bit of what had happened with Cobra Island, the government had put G.I. Joe on standby so they could do an audit of everything G.I. Joe had been doing, because the G.I. Joe program had failed to stop Cobra Island from being recognized as a
legitimate power.
Yeah, a sovereign nation. And they got their butts beat in the fight.
Yep.
And so yeah, that whole storyline, and at the same time, Cobra's pissed off that even though they won the fight, they were pissed off that G.I. Joe had came and fought them on the island that they had just created.
Yep. You come to our turf and start shit? How fucking rude! And Cobra Commander's ego. He could not tolerate that. That's the reason why he blames Snake Eyes. Ego. Delusion.
Yep. Well, also you had what happened at the fall of Springfield that happened just before that.
Yep. We're being chased back to our hole, basically.
Yep.
You took one of... It was... they were not happy.
So they then went after the pit and destroyed the pit, and everybody thought that Destro and Cobra Commander had been killed.
Poor Baroness.
Yeah, and that whole storyline was so good, and we got to see Billy again. And Cobra member Calvin Fumbles was the best character. I don't know, Siggy. There's a couple of really cool characters that they had in Cobra that was like really cool. So Saw Viper, the Saw Viper that was responsible for butchering so many Joes at one time.
Yeah.
That some bitch. Well, he will always live in infamy because of just. I still can't get over the fact that when Cobra Commander found out what they had done, you did what?
He almost pissed himself. He knew Snake Eyes would come gunning. He just barely survived.
And he's like, "You did what, you idiots?" I said, "Just let them go." No, you told us to get rid of them. I meant let them go. You idiots.
Oh God, I remember not long after reading that, I had a dream, and that was the inspiration for one of my Cobra characters. And in the dream, there was a woman who's like, double check that order. Because, double check that order. Something don't sound right. Just get it basically in writing that this is what he wants. Because if it comes back and bites us it's going to bite us in the ass.
Well, remember at that point in time, Cobra Commander had gotten really vicious. I mean, he killed a huge number of Cobra personnel who he felt had been disloyal to him because they had followed the other dude that was saying he was Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
And not realizing it wasn't him. And that was something else. I mean, damn. But I love the whole Destro Baroness love story. That was really a really good one.
Iconic.
Yeah, it was very iconic. And it really gets me that these, like I said, the stories still last to this day. You can go and get these old comics and read them, and you get it. It's really good. Even though these characters were almost all of the Joes at that time were Vietnam vets.
Yeah, that was another reason I liked them.
And
because Dad.
Yeah, and and the stories they had resonated. And I will give the writers that picked up from the Marvel comics, which was the Devil's Due guys,
Hmm.
how they continued those stories and brought in new Joes, with the older Joes being their mentors,
Yep.
and letting the stories evolve and show how the GI Joe organization grew and became its own thing. And it was like really cool. And the role playing game, the GI Joe role playing game, is based off of that concept
Hmm.
of the original Joes being the mentors and building the GI Joe organization into what it became. And that's why every time the GI that I can't remember the name of the company that puts out the GI Joe role playing game, they also do the role playing game for My Little Pony, Power Rangers, and Transformers, and they all use the same game mechanics. Renegade Studio, I think, might be the name. I can't remember. Uh, but hold on, let me pull it up. So go ahead and tell people about what you loved about the comics while I do
That's
this.
like, well, a lot of stuff you've already said. The storylines were amazing. There were a few times where I kind of cringed when you could tell when Hasbro was forcing stuff in, like some of the designs for, like the Saw Viper design was absolute no.
Yeah,
I did not like their design at all. Some of the designs for the weapons and some of the things, that's when you could tell it was being forced on, because and you knew that the writers were having to do some very creative loop-de-loops and jumps to make it fit to where it doesn't feel thematic and like villain of the week.
yeah, exactly. All right, I just posted the link to Renegade Game Studios, the creators of the GI Joe RPG. If you like Power Rangers, they got the Power Rangers RPG. They've got the My Little Pony RPG and the Transformers RPG. And let me see, what's the other ones that they've got? Um, all right, because there's a couple of new things that are supposed to be coming up that they're doing. Uh, I think these guys are also the ones that are doing the the world of putting out the new World of Darkness stuff. And if they are, it's really good. But right now they've got Axis and Allies, Heroescape, Transformers, GI Joe, Power Rangers, and My Little Pony. Um, but yeah, if you guys like RPGs, go check them out, man. It's really good stuff. It's high quality. The artwork is amazing. The writing is really good, and the if you buy the PDFs, you don't see the quality of the print books that they do, because the print stuff, if you buy the print books, they're really good quality books. They're worth the amount of money that they're selling them for. Um, but anyway, they they continued these really awesome storylines they started back in the 80s,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. I mean, uh, I've not got to read any of the newer stuff in a while because of all the crap that came out with Shitterson, uh, and them pushing modern day politics stuff into it. So much so that even Hasbro basically said, "Yo, stop! No, stop this! This has got to stop. You can't keep doing this," because it was turning off all the old fans and even a lot of the newer fans, that because they were attacking the military personnel, military service, and things of this nature, and it just really turned people off.
Yeah.
And it's like, I still couldn't believe that they took GI Joe away from Devil's Due which was made by the guys that did it back when it was still done by Marvel Comics, and gave it to IDW, which was just a whole bunch of freelancers that they would hire per program or
Yeah.
project.
Who had no
And
stake in the game, had no love for it.
yeah, like Shitterson, that little bastard. He wanted to do wrestling comics.
Yeah.
And he tried to pull the whole heel personality shit that you see in wrestling comics, or wrestling in the wrestling genre, and insulting people who are ex-military over their military service is not a good look.
No.
Yeah, it was GI woke, Siggy. It was that they. I mean, they replaced Bazooka with a fat lesbian, I think Filipino woman, who, if she had to run, she would have had a heart attack. And I'm like, no. These guys are supposed to be special forces military. They've got to be in good shape.
Yes. And they gotta, I mean, and the Joes themselves were the best of the best of the best. They caught the eye of, because of that. Mm-hmm. Because they were exceptionally well trained, or they had done exceptional feats. It's like when I made my own Joe, when I was doing fan fiction, one of the things that got that kid recruited, as low level as they were, was coming in top 5 of the Iron Man with a broken ankle.
Yeah, that would actually got their attention.
Yeah, because I'd written it to where the kid with a broken ankle came in top 5 and was still helping others, and had done and had treated their ankle in the field with things that they found, and that's what got Hawk's attention. Like, oh, Beachhead, I got you someone.
And like I said, it's
got to fit the universe.
Yes, you've got to. I keep saying this over and over and over again until I'm blue in the face. There's no such thing as a bad character, just bad writers.
Yep.
And I mean, look at a lot of these really good. They would be good movies if they had a good script, because they had perfect casting. They had awesome special effects and production values. They had actors and actresses that could have performed amazingly, but the script was the part that was the most worthless piece of crap ever.
Yes. That's like every time they do another remake, I'm like, can't you take something that deserves a remake?
Yeah.
Something that, like the old stuff that had crappy special effects, remake that.
Yeah, but they won't.
Nope. See, because they want to keep the IPs.
And if they were smart, I would take a lot of the older TV shows and movies that had awesome stories, awesome scripts, and take those scripts and remake those movies with today's technology, with today's actors, with today's production values, but do everything in my power to save the soul of those original TV shows and those original movies. Because if they were to do that, they would make bank.
Yes.
Now, if they was to have taken a lot of the Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who scripts, and redo them with modern day production values and special effects, I think they would be award winning like you wouldn't believe. Heck, there's been fan done animation of taking I think it was the first and second Doctor episodes that they still had the audio for it, but the video part was damaged,
Yeah.
and they animated them, and they used modern animation to make these new episodes, or remake these old episodes into new episodes, and it was awesome. And instead of them allowing that stuff to continue, they put a stop to it. Just like Paramount, uh, Viacom stopped uh, the Star Trek fan films and fan TV shows.
Yeah. I mean, heck, there's some ones of GI Joe that have fan films. I got a couple
Mm-hmm.
because they were given away over at the GI Joe cons.
Yeah. Yes, Siggy. The there are some of the first Doctor Who, the first Doctor episodes that still are out there, but so many of them have been
Poorly preserved.
poorly preserved, and like I said, the fans wanted to preserve them the best way that they could, and the best way that they could doing it was by doing them as animation and using the original audio and shaping the animation around the audio, and it's really good. And if you're trying to protect your IP, these types of remakes of where you're just taking the old script and using new actors and actresses with
Saves you money.
the modern production values and special effects, you're saving that IP. You're protecting it.
Yeah.
Nobody can take it. Nobody can mess with it. Hold on a second. Because anything else, you have to do something with the IP so you don't lose it. Because after a certain amount of time in TV and movies, if you've not used the IP, it goes into public domain. And they don't want that. They want to protect their investment in it. And so, yeah, I get that. But if, like I said, the easiest and best way to do it and preserve the soul of the IP, just take the old scripts and refilm them.
That way you save some money.
Yeah. And
you're not having to hire
a writing staff that the majority of them have no life experiences other than what they've gleaned from watching other things that have come before. That's one of the biggest problems with a lot of the modern writing rooms. They keep going, oh, we want the modern audience. Problem is, there is no modern audience. Your true audience is everybody.
Yep.
The moment you sit there, I'm going to focus on this small percentage of the population.
You just lost everything.
You just lost everybody else. It's like what we see with the Iger Corporation pushing the ideals of Disney out of the company. That they don't put the guest experience first and foremost. They don't put pleasing the customer base first.
And that's why Target is falling.
The message is what matters now. And that's how you lose it. When look at what happened with Cracker Barrel. The food started getting bad. People stopped wanting to go to Cracker Barrel because they changed the way they prepared the meals. Anybody who knows anything about Southern cooking and soul food will tell you it has to be fresh, because heating it up later doesn't taste as good. And if you're going to just heat something up and eat it, might as well do it in the comfort of home, out of your own microwave, and not spend $40 on a fucking meal.
Exactly.
Okay. You go to a restaurant for the experience, and Cracker Barrel is all about the experience. It is about the ambiance. It is about the staff's interaction with you. It was supposed to be a stepping back into a simpler time. It's nostalgia bait. It's member berries. That's what the whole point of Cracker Barrel was. It was to take you back to a point in time where things were a lot simpler. And exactly, Siggy. DI corporate heads thought that peasants would eat gruel and enjoy it.
Exactly.
These are the same assholes that were sitting there saying, "Oh, you will eat the bugs and the worms, and you will own nothing, and you will enjoy it."
Bless me.
And those assholes are one of the reasons why so much of today's world is so screwed up. They got all this money, all this power, all this influence, and they're using it to try to make themselves into gods amongst men, and it's not going to work. They're going to end up losing their money. And that's why we're seeing stuff coming out of Disney where it's looking like Iger is losing more and more influence within the Disney Corporation because people are like going, "We're losing too damn much money." How many more movies do we have to have in a row flop? Flop worse than an orgy at an erectile dysfunction convention. You know? That's where we're at. And Siggy says, "Bless you."
Thank you.
And
yay, allergies. One day they will stop killing me. Not today, but someday.
yeah. But like I said, that's one of the reasons why I keep telling people whenever I'm talking comic books, go buy the back issues. That way you can keep comic book stores in business. Because the time's going to come when they're going to have to stop throwing good money out the door. I mean, I still remember when Jim Shooter died, and this year, and that knocked me. You can ask Beka. That knocked me for a flipping loop.
It knocked a lot of people for a loop. And buying the back issues also prompts the companies that are being purchased from to do anthologies and
contemplation, compilations.
Yeah, because they did that with GI Joe.
Yeah,
because because I mean, and I mean, they were not just reprinting it, they were also redoing colors and touch-ups, and they even put Hawk's original speech back in at the on the first issue.
Yep. And
because Mr. Hama fought for that. That was all over his Facebook. Like, we fought to get his original speech back instead of what they pushed. Yeah, what Hasbro and them wanted, and he's like, that's because I remember Mr. Hama posting on there like, this is not what Hawk would say.
Yep. Let's see. Siggy says, I remember one sci-fi novel was so many people that plankton was the masses' food, and had the block cities which the World Economic Forum recommended for the peasantry. Yeah, those assholes, they want to live like gods while everybody else has to live off of next to nothing and literally be slaves. And if you don't live up to their quotas, you can be put to sleep.
Like what they're doing in Canada. God almighty, Canada, what's happening to you? My poor sister.
Yeah, I've got so many friends that live up in Canada. I keep telling them, come to North Carolina. We'll take you in as refugees, man.
There was a friend I had years ago. She was also into GI Joe, and she was a Canadian soldier in the military, and she retired to marry another friend of mine. And I'm thinking to myself, I bet she is so damn glad she got out of there while she had the chance.
Yeah,
because that was like that was because she was in both the GI Joe and the Captain Scarlet fandoms. That's how I got to know her.
Yeah, I still can't get past the fact that when you discovered I was the person who did Whose Heart is the Blackest, you were like, you did
what?
This.
Because I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. And the fact that Gary Anderson himself had read it and loved it. That, because my friend that helped me write it, she said that she had gave it to him to read, see what he thought. And
Yeah.
she said that Gary Anderson loved the concept and the character and everything about him. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, he read it on the plane flying to the convention.
Yeah.
And
And sadly, unfortunately, nowadays, creators can't do that. They cannot read fan fiction or see fan art or anything else of their content, because if something similar pops up, they can get sued.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like the same idea or same something that would fit thematically. That's like, I remember, like, God forbid if you have a similar looking armor, but you're trying to make, because they'll be, oh, yeah, they will get sued.
No, that's the. See, what gets me is it's one of the reasons why I got so upset with Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Because they blatantly stole that from I think his name's Nias,
Yeah.
who was creating I think it wasn't it a video game he had been creating, that they just literally took it all. And
it is not hard to duplicate things, Mr. Siggy man, because especially when it's in a same setting and you only have so much resources to draw on. I remember that happening to me when I did a fan design for a set of armor in one fandom, and I was drawing references from that fandom and some occasional fantasy armors that I've seen, and someone's like, "You copied my design." I'm like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And the thing was, I was not the only one designing it. My friend, do you remember Tasha from Kentucky?
I think so.
Yeah, she was helping me design it because it was a fandom we were both in, and we were working on it. And when this person was accusing me of stealing their work, she's like, I was there. It's just similar line of thought.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many things you can do with certain types of armor.
I mean, it's the same deal with, like Voyager,
Yeah.
I designed Odyssey, and the base concept of Odyssey was,
getting stranded.
The cadet crews at Wolf 359 getting tossed to the other side of the galaxy and having to make their way back. And a lot of the characters that I had designed for Odyssey showed up on Voyager later. And but I never pitched a shit fit about it. I was just like, yeah, I gave this all to Mary Jo Barrett when she came to Charlotte for a Star Trek convention, and she saw my artwork. She loved it, and while we were talking, I told her that she was one of my first crushes, along with Linda Carter, who played Wonder Woman. And she says, "So you really like Nurse Chapel, huh?" And I was like, "No, it wasn't Nurse Chapel who I had the crush on." And she looked at me funny, and she goes, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she started naming off some of the other characters that she had played in back then, and I'm like, "No, none of them." And she's like, "Well, who was the one that you had the crush on?" And I said, "Number one, obviously." And the look on her face was awesome. She couldn't believe it. It's like, you really? And like, to this day, man, I love dark-haired women. It's like redheads and women with black hair. Those are the two women that I'm attracted to. And it's just the way it is. It's one of the reasons why I warn people. Okay, guys, listen up. This is me being serious for a second. If you're going to date a woman from the United Kingdom, take my advice. You're going to need this. Take notes. Cornish women. Yes. Welsh women. Yes. Irish women. Yes. Scottish women. Oh, yes. Very much so. English women. No,
Run.
no. Run, run. Don't stop running. Just keep running. Go run, run, run until you pass out from exhaustion because you've not eaten or drunk anything because you've been running screaming, no. That is my advice on dating women in the British Isles, okay? And that's not just me saying that, that's English men also saying this. Oh, because they bought me food and they bought me booze when I said that while I was there. And that was what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, just about.
But yes. But like I said, G.I. Joe is still one of my favorite all-time fandoms.
And they had a great international thing. I mean, you met, it wasn't just the American Joes, you met the ones from Great Britain, you met the ones from Russia, because to reinforce that Cobra was an international threat.
Yep. And the storylines was really good. I mean, the October Guard were Soviets. You know, they weren't just Russians. They were from all the different Soviet states. And even though the United States and the Soviet Union were at odds with each other, they still worked together to stop Cobra. And a lot of the characters that they introduced for the October Guard were, you know, career military who had fought in places like Afghanistan. Yes, boys and girls, Afghanistan.
Yep.
If y'all don't know your history, man, you need somebody to give you a spanking, and not the really fun kind of spanking, but the really serious kind that makes it where you can't sit down for a while, and it actually hurt because the Soviet Union went into Afghanistan, and that's what caused a lot of the problems that we've had with international Islamic terrorism. All comes from the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. One of these days, I'll have to do a deep dive on the Cold War for people that are kids nowadays that know nothing about it. It's going to be one of those things I'll do with Logan.
Get his reactions.
Yeah, because whenever he would bring his friends over and I'd be giving a history lesson, they're like, I'm learning more about this stuff than I did in school. And they actually would go to their teachers and ask questions about the stuff I had told them, and the teacher had to admit, yeah, that's true. And it was something else. I mean, Logan would show up with his buddies and say, they're here for a history lesson. And but yeah, it was G.I. Joe was really awesome. I mean, the cartoons.
And it had better representation before it was demanded.
Yes.
I mean, Doc was a black doctor, and he had. I mean, the representation was so good. I mean, Scarlet was there from day one. Stalker was there from day one, and it wasn't forced, and it wasn't every other word. The difficulty of being a woman or a black person in this. No, I'm your soldier. I'm a soldier. We're all soldiers. Let's go kick some Cobra butt.
Yeah, and Stalker, you know, he was one of the senior NCOs. You know,
Stalker was one of the most badass ones in the freaking story.
Because he was originally Snake Eyes' squad leader.
Yeah.
Because he was the squad leader for both Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Wade Collins, who ended up becoming one of the better Crimson Guardsmen.
I mean, he was there when Snake Eyes' face got blown off.
The first time.
Yeah. I mean, he was the one who told the story.
Yep.
He narrated. He's like, Because he was there when Snake Eyes carried Scarlet out of that burning helicopter and his face was gone.
Yeah. And it was something else, man. I mean, these stories are so good. If you guys haven't read the comics, please do. You can actually buy the the complete series. You can buy them as PDFs, and you can also buy them as graphic novels. I backed it on Kickstarter when it came out. There's a big reason why I went just the PDF digital version because, well, in all honesty, I knew that if I had got the print version, I would be sleeping and my cats would be like trying to wake me up, going, "Hey, hey, crazy redheaded lady's here stealing comics. Come on, wake up, wake up."
I have your originals. Although
Yeah,
it would be nice to have the updated copies with corrected things and especially the colors updated because yeah.
yeah, but so I went ahead and got the digital and was like, okay, here you go, take a look, and it's awesome being able to reread all these old comics. They're so damn good,
Yes.
guys.
I mean, going back and watching some of the old stuff and reading the old things, yeah, that you could see some of the stuff that nowadays are like, oh, look how racist or sexist that was, but it wasn't good fun. Magnum PI.
Yeah, the original Magnum PI was like amazing.
Yes.
And I tried watching. I watched a lot of the new reboot that they did.
And what they did to Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, and the first few seasons of it seemed really good.
And then it just got, yeah.
And I love the fact that they had tied it in with NCIS.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool. They also tied it with the new rebooted MacGyver. Though a lot of the stuff they did to the first season of MacGyver, I watched it and I enjoyed it for the most part. You know, having MacGyver being more of a kid,
yeah,
made more sense of him having a minder with him. And isn't it Stahl, the guy who used to be part of CSI, the original CSI show, was on there with
I
him?
think because I know one of the things that I was really that Mom and I were both looking forward to was they'd be continuations of the originals.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they were talking about doing the Walker reboot. And they changed it and they just made instead of being a continuation of Walker, they just rebooted it into a generic white guy with dead wife angst.
Yeah.
AKA the most common boring story ever, instead of having it be Walker's kids or even grandkids.
Yeah.
They could have delved further into that would have given a great chance for hiring and bringing more
American Indians in.
Yeah, more, because I mean Walker was half.
He was half
both
American
worlds.
Indian.
He was both worlds.
And that's oh man, there's just so much that
they miss opportunities on.
That for some reason these people love leaving money on the table.
Exactly. I'm like, you could have had, not only could you have brought in new Native American actors and actresses, you could have brought in more martial artists, because that's how several martial artists got their start, was by guest starring on freaking Walker, showing off their spin kicks and everything like that. And then
you also had a lot of wrestlers
were
able to start their transition from just their wrestling career to actual acting careers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Roddy Piper did that. There were so many of them. I just can't remember their names right offhand.
I mean, it was great watching it because one of the stories prompted conversations from like mom and dad to why this is bad and what you should do in this situation. Because I mean, I was watching those when I was, God, how old was I?
You were a kid.
I was young, and I was sitting there.
You were still in, I think, junior high school at the time.
Yeah, and I'd be sitting there watching it, and it was sometimes I'd ask mom and dad about things, and it would promote open, honest dialogue that parents should be having. I mean, there are things parents are the only ones who should be talking to their kids about.
Yeah, and if you're maturely portraying something on a show and not pushing it,
yes,
that's different than what's been going on nowadays, where they're pushing the message and pushing these narratives that are just so fucked up, you know. And Siggy says that he never watched Voyager after the Amelia Earhart episode.
That was a weird one.
Um, our aunt, she adored Voyager. Her favorite characters were Seven of Nine and Janeway. Janeway was a good character that
Occasionally did suffer from some of the writing. Yeah.
Yeah, the writing is. Chakotay, the character of Chakotay, also suffered from bad writers.
Yes.
Ditto with Ensign Kim, because in all honesty, when they got back, he should have gotten promotions throughout the show.
Yeah.
Because he was the ship's chief operations officer.
And he busted his butt.
Yeah.
He was my favorite. I loved him so much. They did him so dirty.
Crazy Horse says he and Alice still watch Voyager all the time and DS9. DS9 of the Star Trek series, my big three favorites: Deep Space Nine, the original series, and Enterprise. Those are the three I really love. And I wanted to love Strange New Worlds. I really wanted to love it. Up until the Klingon pop boy band episode. Yeah, that made me go.
Sorry, I randomly screamed like a fainting goat. To the people who are not used to me.
Yeah, and Crazy Horse says, I told Sean Carter I want a Voyager model. I love the look of the Intrepid class. Yes,
oh God,
it is.
Beautiful design.
The Star Trek role playing game, the group that I played with, we played on an Intrepid class ship.
That's like how in the G.I. Joe comics when they'd introduced a new vehicle or something like that, and they'd try to make it look good and like it belonged.
Yeah.
Because I remember looking at some of the stuff and then looking at the toys, and I'm like, yeah, you could tell the artist tried to fix a few things. Try to make it look right. Yep. Like the Trouble Bubble.
Yeah. That one was I loved it in the cartoon show.
Yeah, it fit the cartoons better than the comics.
Yeah. And
honestly, they should have. Yeah.
I love the toy because I actually had that toy.
Because that's like they should have kept the comics more realistic, not as influenced by the toy line, and have the cartoon be more toy line influenced.
So Siggy says he's only played on the TS, the original series ship, in the Star Trek role-playing game as an engineer. Dude, if I would love to be able to get a group and actually get to play some of these games instead of having to run them. Because
you're a pretty fair D&D. You're pretty fair dungeon master, so that helps.
Yeah, but I want to get to play.
I know.
Because
just trying to find someone who is equally fair. Not like some bullshit I've run into.
Okay, this Saturday I'm going to be running Cyberpunk for the guys on our gaming server, which is Zachary, Boone, Cash, Logan, Zachary, and I actually spent money I really shouldn't have on buying the new Cyberpunk books so I can read up on it so I could run it.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to do it on Saturday. But I've also got the books for a whole lot of game systems because I collect the game system books of the stuff that I really enjoy. I've got The Expanse, I've got Star Trek, Star Wars, Space 1999, the new Marvel role playing game. I've got the Fallout role playing game. I've got so many role playing games. It's easier to say what I don't have than to say all the stuff I've got. I mean, you can ask Beka about the stacks of game books I've got all around me right now.
You need more shelves. Clean out your living room and put up more shelves.
Yeah, uh, I know. Uh, the problem is getting the shelving.
Yeah. You might have to hire somebody to build you some.
And the sad thing is, I could build them if I could just be able to get all the materials to do it.
Not with
Because
your shaky hands. No. You are not allowed in your power tools. I have seen how your hands shake. No. That's why I don't let you in the shop. You are not losing your fingers.
well, my hands aren't shaking as bad now.
But
Uh,
still, I don't want to risk that. Just one trimmer and you could lose something.
yeah, I know, but
No,
I'm
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
still
no.
I still love
Forbidden,
building
forbidden, forbidden,
things.
forbidden.
I still love building things. That's the thing.
Just with no power tools. For the love of God, no power tools. I have nightmares over that. When you said you wanted to get the shop back in the working order and that you would be doing it, I had nightmares about you severing fingers and hands and feet.
Well,
God.
if we can get the shop back up and running, it's that's my one of my dreams is to get it back up and running because that was something that Granddad and Dad did, and they taught me how to do it too. And the only reason why I'm not
Yes,
down there
Lego.
doing,
You're only doing Lego blocks. Siggy, you got me on this. He's only doing Lego blocks.
do you know how expensive Lego blocks are?
Too bad.
Gee, they're
I'd rather it's less. It'd be less expensive than your medical bills.
VA. That's all I got to say. The VA's covering all my medical bills.
I don't think they cover stupidity.
Oh, you'd be surprised, but not. I mean, better than losing members going we. Yeah, but like I said, the GI Joe comics was really good. The cartoon show was really good. The until they introduced Cobra Law.
That got interesting fast, and I'm using
Yeah,
that as my polite saying.
I mean that really to me that wasn't jumping the shark. That was jumping into the Marianas Trench with about holding a ton worth of metal. There they went because
Yeah,
it became something that it was a lot harder to justify watching
yeah.
because we would watch the cartoon while I was in the Navy, be flipping through the TV channels whenever we were in port and we were getting cable TV piped in, and so you'd be flipping channels to see what's on. And a lot of the times, during the workday, we would leave it on like VH1 or MTV back in the day when they actually played music videos. So we would have music in in our workspaces, and but during lunchtime, people would show up at in our lounges and rec rooms, and they'd start turning the channels to see what all was on. And if while they're flipping through the channels, they'd hit a cartoon show, they're like, anybody want to watch this? And depending on what the cartoon show was, the answer was yes. Is it a little kid's cartoon show? Turn it. If it's something that we can all enjoy and laugh at, we'll watch it. And GI Joe was one of the ones that was on the list of we're going to watch the show. And I still remember the Bill and Ted's Most Bogus Adventure that we had, my second med cruise, when we ended up going to the Persian Gulf. Because we had Admiral William Victor Cross, Wild Bill. The joke was at the time, because he'd went up for a star multiple times, and he just couldn't get his star. And everybody was saying the reason why he couldn't get his star was the fact that the Pentagon was too scared that if they gave him a star, he would declare war on some little third world country just to be able to play with the toys. uh, and the admiral that we had for that, his first name was Ted. Thus, it was Bill and Ted's Most Bogus Adventure, because the two of them had allowed the Southern Baptist chaplain to basically be in charge of everything. And the ship's official chaplain was a Roman Catholic priest. He was an older gentleman. Me and him used to have discussions about theological stuff all the time. And he's the one that set me up with the Saudi royal family Aman that taught me about Islam. And but anyway, the Southern Baptist chaplain, he was like a lieutenant, junior grade, and somehow he had got the ear of both our ship's captain and the admiral for our battle group. We were basically, if it wasn't a war movie, we were only watching G-rated stuff during that deployment.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, I mean, it was kids. We were watching kid movies that were G-rated. We could, and the only stuff that was of a harder rating was if it was a war movie. Do you know how much money I could have made by renting out the VHS tapes that I had if I was actually had wanted to make money?
You would have made bank.
I wouldn't be okay. Our family would not be living in these 3 houses right now. We would be living in a nice big fracking mansion somewhere. That's how much money I could have made off of renting out movies on that ship. And I'm not talking about the porn box. Okay, I'm talking just regular R-rated, PG-rated, and PG-13 rated movies I could have been renting out. I would have made a fortune off of just them. And if it came up, put my hand on the porn box and go, if you want to rent these, it's double. And we would be living on an island right now because of how bad the movie entertainment issues was. We weren't even being allowed to watch the stuff that was on the U.S. Armed Forces TV that was stuff off of regular TV that was being posted onto the Armed Forces TV that we would get to watch. We were having because this piece of shit Southern Baptist bastard had convinced Bill and Ted to do this. There's a rule in the Navy that if you spend a certain amount of time out at sea, they're supposed to break out the booze and give you 2 beers. So you could drink 2 beers. Of course, you had to drink the 2 beers right there in front of the person who just issued them to you, but still, you were going to be given 2 beers. Instead, the day before the beer issue was to be given to us, we would then pull into a port in the Middle East where alcohol was illegal and forbidden. Let me get that. Let me say that again. The day before they were supposed to pass out the alcohol, we would then pull into a port where alcohol was forbidden in a country where the women were burqas, not the nice burqas that you see that you can see maybe a glimpse of their eyes, and maybe possibly if they take a step too much, you get to see their shoe. And they had to wear gloves. Okay, that is where we would end up having to make landfall.
Hell on earth. Can you imagine how hot it must have been in those damn things?
Yeah. That's why we referred to my second my second deployment to the Middle East as Bill and Ted's most bogus adventure. Because it sucked in the bad way. It's where I came up with the statement of we need to retire the phrase cocksucker because cocksuckers are awesome people. They're just so giving, and they take nothing back. But cockbites, on the other hand, they always take something back. Yes, that's my public service announcement for the show. We need to stop using cocksucker as a pejorative and as a bad thing. We need to really stop that. Replace that term with cockbite, please. Crazy horse like that. But anyway, we would watch these things just for shits and giggles, and whenever we were in port, you know, payday would come around. We'd go to the toy store and buy the toys, come back to the ship, and assemble them and put them together, and then we would play with them for a bit, just to have a little fun, and then we would give them away. And it was something that we did, and like I said, there was every now and again you get an asshole who would break the toys just to break the toys, to be an asshole. And then the other guys would be like, "What the fuck did you do that for?" And read them the riot act. Do you know that they put this stuff together for fucking kids, man? You fucking asshole. And Christmas time was the best, man. Did you go through the line crossing ceremony? Yep. I've got my blue nose, the shellback, and I can't remember what the other one that went through. But the blue nose, they freaked the hell out because, the cold's never bothered me. One of the reasons why I love that song. And
Frozen? Cold never bothered me anyway.
Let's see. Tarot Destroyer wrote, "My boyfriend's testicles were bitten off by a camel recently. Should I marry him when he wakes up from his coma?"
Oh,
or
Lord.
marry his identical twin brother whose testicles are pretty good shape.
Jesus Christ.
Then he goes, 7 years ago, my parents were eaten by pygmy cannibals, and I've never forgotten it. I don't know who you. Yeah, it's weird. Yes, I've got my shellback stuff somewhere in my records over there. Just like I got my blue nose. Whenever I got my blue nose, that was pretty funny because you're supposed to get wet wearing nothing but your underwear and a pair of shoes and go across the bow of the ship, run across the bow of the ship and go back in. Me, everybody else was just up and run across and back inside. Me, I went outside. I started having conversations with everybody as I was walking along. "Hey guys, what's up? What you doing?" And they're like, "Dude, what the fuck? You're soaking wet, wearing just your boxer shorts and your flight deck boots." And I'm like, "Yeah, aren't you?" And everybody else is like bundled up like Eskimos and shit, with the heavy duty cold weather gear, extreme weather gear. And I'm just bebopping along. This is fun. You guys having fun? I'm having fun. And they're like, "You have almost no body fat. We can do an anatomy class off of you. You're so skinny." Because they can see the bones and they can see the muscles and the tendons and everything. What the fuck, dude? Get inside. Get inside. Because literally the safety guy was sitting there going, "Get inside before you freeze to death. Get inside before you freeze to death. Your lips are blue." But I'm not cold, man. I feel pretty good. They're like, "Get inside." They took me down, got me back inside, took me to the showers, turned the hot water on me. "Warm him up, man." And everybody's like going, "You were out there for 5 minutes, man. What the hell? What the hell?" And I'm like, "It wasn't cold." Everybody else is like, "Bullshit." "Bullshit, man. Bullshit." I'm like, "Cold doesn't bother me, man." So that song in Frozen, the cold never bothered me anyway. It's one of those things where we're like, I could marry her and we would have fun because the cold never bothered me. But the heat though, the heat, that's what gets me, man. The heat gets me, still does. I mean, okay, Becca, tell everybody about Grandmommy and how bad the heat was for her.
Yeah, she was not a fan of heat at all.
Because the air conditioning was the only thing that helped her survive North Carolina summer.
Yeah, she did
And
not do the heat. Oh God,
the
no.
heat messed her up so bad. And I think that's where I get it from because it during the summertime, that's when the metal hurts the most in me.
It
During the
heats up.
winter, the during the winter time, when it's cold and wet, most people that's got a lot of metal in them complain about the pain. Me, it's the other way around. I complain about the pain the most in the summer because it hurts me the most in the summer. And Grandmom was in many ways like that because she had that really bad rheumatoid arthritis. And she had volunteered when I was a baby for experimental surgeries to try to correct the buildup in her joints, and her hands and her feet were so messed up. Let's see. Let's see. Crazy Horse says, me and Alice have a bucket list of getting a blue water sailboat and cruising the San Blas Islands, then crossing the Pacific to French Polynesia. If I could, I would be on a boat right now because, like I said, when we were doing the the thing with Laura Jane, when we were talking about up in Lake Lure, the two places that I still see whenever I think of home is the mountains up there in Lake Lure and the ocean, the Ike. I still see the Ike whenever I dream of home, um, which is sad.
With how much metal is in you, you would drown.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Logan talks about the fact that I've got I've got metal holding my legs together that makes me kind of like his hero of Wolverine. Oh, Minnie makes shellback one day. I've already been through the Panama Canal on a sailboat. Love working on yachts and boats. I do miss it. Yeah, it's the little boats though. I'm not that used to. Big boats, I am because I remember when we were going through one of the hurricanes, and I was standing watch, and I was watching one of the destroyers, the small boys, disappear as a big wave just hit it and it just disappeared. And I started screaming in the sound powered phones, going, "Oh my god, that ship just disappeared, man! It's gone! It's fucking gone! Oh my god, this is horrible!" And somebody comes on, calm down, just give it a few minutes, give it a minute. Come on, you can count. Take deep breaths, count it. Whoop, there it is. See it? See it? It just popped right back up. That they're good as long as they keep all their hatches, locked down. They're gonna pop back up until they don't. Oh my god, that's what you're out there for. If it doesn't pop back up, then you let us know. But it's gone again. It's gone. Remember what I said. Take it easy. I was like, oh shit, it just disappeared again. That was so much fun. But at the time, I was terrified. I'm like, oh my god, how many people's on that ship? And they're like, oh, just a couple hundred. So bitch, no, they're gone. They're gone. They'll pop back up in a second. They're not a submarine. They're not a submarine. But even during the Hurricane Hugo, man, it was something else. We had to repaint all the walls, all the bulkheads. We had to repaint them all because you can see footprints going up one wall, then back down that wall and up the next wall because it was throwing the ike all over the place. It was rocking like you wouldn't believe. And yeah, good times, good times. Scary times, but good times. You had to tie yourself into your rack. But back to GI Joe. Now, I still remember the crossover that they did in the animated series with
Hmm.
GI Joe and Transformers. That was pretty good. Um, where you get to see Old Snake, and it was Cobra Commander doing the Cobra's cry at the very end of it. That,
Yep.
that was that was pretty cool. Um,
It was so popular that now they have the what do you call it? The Energon verse. Their Transformers and GI Joe is literally in the same universe,
yeah,
and
and
that's how popular it was, and how much it influenced, and just
well,
its sheer influence.
you saw the last Transformers movie at the very end of it had the
Hmm.
dude that was wanting to recruit the guy for the GI Joe team,
Yeah,
and that was so cool that because they were going to reboot GI Joe movies as
into the
part of the
trans,
same
mhm,
in the same Transformers universe,
keeping it in the
and
franchise.
yeah, and that I was like, oh yeah, do it, do it, do it, please, for the love of God, do it. And we haven't seen anything else about it. That's what
Nope.
sucks. Because the actor that they had that was the representative of the GI Joe team is one of my. I like him. He's a really good actor, and he shows up in a whole lot of stuff in bit roles. Because he was in House of Cards, he was in The West Wing. I mean, he's been in a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, in little small roles, and he's a really good actor. I've actually used him as a reference for characters for my in my comic book setting where I had where I combined the Marvel universe and the DC universe into one big universe
Hmm.
for my role playing game stuff. Whenever I do superhero role playing games, where you've got both Shield and Argus, and he's a Shield agent. Um, but yeah, Agent Mycroft is the name I gave him, and he was my version of Coulson. And he was the one that gets assigned to being the liaison with the Queensman and trying to. And he's like, "All right, y'all put me with a group of misfit super wearing super costumes. I've got a disgruntled veteran, a startup weapons developer. I've got a thrill-seeking dumbass who's on a flying surfboard. And he's just rattling off the people he's responsible for. And the only sane some bitch that's on the team is the one that doesn't want to be the team leader, and that's the disgruntled veteran who says, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't want to have to deal with this paperwork. I'm an enlisted man, not an officer." He's like, "I've got to do all this paperwork because nobody knows how to do it." That was the whole point of Mycroft, was the fact he was stuck doing their paperwork. And yeah, but yeah, that's. I just wish that these things that we really enjoyed, growing up, that the people trying to reboot it and would do it right. This
And
is
do it
why,
with love.
yes, I mean, Laura J wanted to, hasn't shown up yet, and she was talking about wanting to talk about He-Man and She-Ra and how they screwed up She-Ra and He-Man so bad. And she was also wanting to talk about Gargoyles, uh, Rainbow Bright, uh, Strawberry Shortcake. These were shows that were really big when we were kids, especially y'all when y'all were kids, because I had to watch
Hmm.
that stuff so damn much. And I said, okay, I have no problem talking about any of that except for Poochie. We're not talking about Poochie, no matter what. We are not talking about that godforsaken talking dog and the super gay robot butler that traveled with it. I'm talking that robot was so gay it made C3PO look a like Quagmire from Family Guy being addicted to sex with women. Okay, that's and I still have nightmares about that damn cartoon that y'all made me watch while I babysat y'all. God, it was horrible. That and Lucky Luke. Those are two cartoons y'all would watch all the damn time. Lucky Luke and Poochie. Oh God, that stuff.
The more you hated it, the more fun it was.
Yeah, y'all will. Ah, uh, that, you're lucky I'm not picking up my stick and coming down there and beating you for it, man. Damn, that
You'd
stuff
have
was.
to catch me first.
Hey, you'd be surprised how fast that little scooter can go.
You'd have to be able to get your scooter into the fence.
I'd go through. I'd drive through the fence. Damn it.
I have reinforced the fence with Mama's wisteria. That thing is a fortress.
Yeah, I know. But
I mean,
like
it
I
doesn't
said,
stop AJ from trying to get out, little Houdini.
yeah. Yeah, look at you. Kraken sitting here on the pillow beside me, just having a good old time sleeping. But not one of the best parts about the whole GI Joe was the writing. The storylines were great. They stand up test of time. The artwork, for the most part, the artwork always was really good. They, except for the times whenever they would have to bring in somebody else to come in and pick up slack.
Yeah.
And
you could always tell. You could always tell.
yeah, and which is one of those things where you're like, what the heck,
That's why I liked the Devil's Due run, because Tim Seeley was really good at it.
Yep, but then you had IDW that took them over, and the IDW run was so horrible, man. The writing sucked, the art sucked. Like I said, Shitterson really shit the bed. I mean, uh, those who like video games that really enjoyed the first Last of Us video game,
Mm-hmm.
how Cutman cut his own product and really screwed the pooch. IDW did that with the GI Joe run.
Yeah.
Because Shitterson was a real douchebag, and Hasbro came in and said, "No, we will take the license away from you if you keep him associated with GI Joe." And the president of IDW was actually going to allow Shitterson to keep writing the stuff and paying him to do it, but using one of the secretaries' contact information saying that they were the ones that was actually writing it. And it was people within IDW who contacted Hasbro saying that this is how they're trying to get around your statement that Shitterson is not allowed to have anything to do with the GI Joe franchises. And IDW almost lost all of Hasbro's properties at right then and there because of it.
Yeah, and they would have been right to do it.
Yeah, and IDW, is in many. Okay, Image Comics has it's almost exclusively independents coming in and publishing under the Image banner.
Yeah.
And IDW had almost no IP of its own. It was almost exclusively licensed products.
Yeah.
You don't piss off the people who own the licenses to the things you're putting out, because they can take that away from you like that. And I that's one of the reasons why IDW is pretty much a non-entity now, is bad management.
Yep.
And it's just like, damn, it's really messed up. Um, who's got the GI Joe comics now? Because I thought the people that had originally done Devil's Due might have it back. because
I don't even remember.
Devil's Due, I don't even think they're still in operation right now. Because Devil's Due, they were doing the GI Joe comics until they got pulled from them and given to IDW.
Let's see.
Because you used to work with them.
Not really. I mean, I had Tim Seeley's contact information. He was like mentoring me a little, but I didn't do actual work with them. Let's see. Comic books. Is it Skybound?
Yes, Skybound's the one that's doing it now.
Yeah.
And Skybound is a pretty good company that actually gives a damn about.
Yeah, they're the one who's doing the Energon universe.
Because they actually care about they care about putting out a good product and giving the customers what they want.
Because they have the Energon universe and the Real American Hero continuation with Mr. Hama.
Yep. Okay. Siggy says Hasbro owns the GI Joe comics as the intellectual property holder of the entire GI Joe franchise, including all comic book rights, characters, and storylines tied to the toy line.
Yeah,
exactly. And IDW, the president of IDW was a total idiot, and that's why IDW was losing so much money.
Yep.
And it would not surprise me if IDW goes out of business completely because of it. One of the things about Heroes Con is getting to talk to professionals in the industry who are not just the artists and the writers, but also getting to talk to editors. And there are a lot of the small press, whenever they set up at Heroes Con, they're actually looking for talent that they can hire. And talking with those guys, getting the rates, the going rates right now in the industry is one of the things I always try to do. I didn't get to do it this last convention because I was running around way too much.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's because my plan is to do a Queensman comic. I still want to do that, and I need help with getting the writers and getting a writing team, and an art team to be able to do it. So I'm doing everything I can to come up with the pricing to make so I can raise the money to do it. Because if I can get that done, that would be so much fun. Actually having a comic book team based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Because that's my dream. Because there have been several superhero book novels written based out of Charlotte. There's There's also there was a series of modern urban fantasy novels that was based in Charlotte. And that made me say, hey, if they can sell that and pull that off, we can pull off a superhero team based out of Charlotte. I'm really wanting to do it. But yeah, G.I. Joe is so damn it's just so awesome, man. The role-playing game looks really good, guys. That's why I posted the link so that you guys can go check it out. You can make up your own Joe or Cobra, or Skokie Clan. They've got rules for all of the different factions to where you can make your character. So it's cool. It's awesome. The quality is so damn good. If you guys get a chance to check them out, man, please do. They actually care about. Siggy says, "Bless you again."
Thank you.
They care about the quality, a good quality product, and that they're not pushing a woke message. They have their inclusive stuff that's in there, but that they're not hitting you over the head with a sledgehammer with it. and it comes across as more
Natural,
natural,
realistic,
and
like
which
how
is
the Joe
good.
stuff used to be. Always
Yeah,
was.
and that's the part that really cheeses me off about a lot of these activists. Say, oh, it's not diverse, got enough diversity. Yes, it did. They had a lot of these old IPs had a lot of diversity to it. They just didn't push it.
Yeah, it wasn't every other sentence was woman this, gay this, trans this. It was I am human being. You are
Mm-hmm.
human being. Let us have human issues. It wasn't all yeah.
Exactly, and that's what has made those stories timeless.
Yeah. It's not,
And
oh, what's the issue we should be talking about of the week?
exactly, that they did that more in the cartoons
Yeah.
because it was aimed at kids, teaching them morality lessons. It's like the talk that we had about Roblox on
Hmm.
Rumble, the Rumble exclusive. We were talking about some of the shows and stuff from cartoons that uh, aren't allowed anymore, like Fat Albert, Richie Rich, uh, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, things of this nature. Uh, had to talk about that stuff over on Rumble because odds are we'd get in trouble for talking about those subjects here on YouTube. YouTube's no longer a free speech platform, and that sucks. We've got to be very careful about the language we use here on YouTube because there are words that if we used it, it would this get our live stream demonetized. Hell, I don't have enough subscribers to be monetized, to be honest, because I've only got I think 70 right now. If that, let me take a look again. Oh wow, I've got 73 subscribers.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay, cool, cool.
In the money, in the money. Not.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how many subscribers I have to have before I can even be monetized, uh, and have the stuff in my chat that other YouTubers have because Biggie he likes to worship eldritch godlings and things of this nature, and I've got to break out the spray bottles whenever he starts doing that because you can only simp for one godlike being at a time, Bubba. You got to choose. Is it God Emperor of the Warhammer 40K universe, or are you going to be going and supporting Harvey, the deadbeat dad? But yes, we'll go ahead and start wrapping it up because we just passed the 2 hour mark. I hope everybody had fun. Hopefully, Becca had fun so we can talk about stuff like this again whenever Laura Jane can join us. And Crazy Horse and Alice can join in as well.
Yep.
So we can talk about the mountains and how awesome the mountains were and about how things are developing after the hurricane. Don't make me do this, man. You're gonna make me do this. Are you really gonna make me have to break it out? Are you gonna make me break out the spray bottle? Are you? Are you gonna make me break out the spray bottle? Come on. You were doing so good. You're doing so dang good. Now I gotta break out the spray bottle. This is not cool, man. Not
Don't worry,
cool.
Kraken, it's not for you or Prince.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to Kraken and Prince, all I gotta do is fire off the taser in the air, and so there you go. Bad, Sigvaldason. Bad, bad boy. You're being bad. Be good. You got to be good. Come on. Don't support the deadbeat dad. Come on. You can do better than that. You're better than that. I have to break out the spray bottle at least once every live stream for him because he does that. But yeah, he knows we love him. But But yeah, guys, thank you guys for coming and hanging out in the chat. Well, me and Becca talked about GI Joe and other stuff too. Um, the role playing game, like I said, guys, go check that out. It's really cool. Go check out the comics where they've compiled them all together, because they compiled all of the Marvel stuff, and if I remember right, it's also started compiling Devil's Due, but it was all the original run of GI Joe or Real American Hero comics.
Yeah.
Because after it got canceled at Marvel Comics, one of the first things that Devil Dude did whenever they picked it up was wrapped up a lot of those storylines that were left hanging.
Because if I remember right, they said it was because it pissed them off too that those were left hanging. Like,
yeah, and it's the comics were just so well written, guys. There's no other way of putting it. There's how well written they were. They were written back in the 80s, and those stories are still strong to this day. And some of those characters, you know, they made the. I mean, you had Quinn the Eskimo, who was one of the bad guys that they had introduced. He might have been a bad guy, but he was an honorable bad guy.
Yeah.
And
like Destro.
He was.
I loved Destro.
Then you had let's see, what was the other bad guy character that they introduced that was really cool?
Let me see.
Shoot. I'm not talking about it sounds like someone is sharpening a knife. No, I'm not sure what Becca's doing. I think she might be making food.
No, I'm drawing.
You're breaking out the art supplies.
Yeah, I got my tablet.
But yeah,
I did not know it could pick that up.
Yep. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for coming. Back to my statement that never forget you're loved and you are not alone. Be the change in the world that you want. Be an example to others. Do the stuff that my mom and dad did. You know, help people. Buy toys for somebody, you know. And Siggy just said, no doubt drawing a great picture of our Eldritch God.
Nope.
Bad, Sig Valdison. Bad. Come on.
No, I'm drawing my Cobra OCs.
Bad, Sig Valdison. Bad. Bad, Sig Valdison. Bad. Behave. You know, we love you, Siggy. We love you. But yes, I love all of you guys. You're my, like I've said before, you're found family for me. Y'all help me get through a lot of stuff, especially missing Zachary. And thank you guys. Y'all be. I love you guys.
Will it do it? Yeah, that's what I was working on.
There you go. But yeah, y'all be good. Thank you guys for showing up. It's time now to transfer over to do. I think Doomcock's got Friday Night Frolics going. There's Snow Dub. He's got Friday Night Funk going on. Loki, I think, has his that he's going to be doing. So please go have fun. Ask your sister to do some drawings. Yeah, Shrubby.
How do I put a link down?
Just put it right down here where it says post a comment. Copy and paste into it.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Come here.
But yeah, Shrubs.
It's not letting me connect to the chat. Join the chat. Me.
All right, put it in the private chat, and then
All right.
I'll copy and paste it. All right.
I'm easy to find. The name I've got here is what I use across my social medias, especially my art stuff.
This is Beka's DeviantArt account. But you can also get a hold of her on my private servers on Discord. She's on those too.
Yeah.
I can't remember. You're on my RPG one and my channel, right?
I'm on your American Patriot server.
All right. Hold on, and I'll get the links for the various Discords. Where is it? There we go. Come up here. Copy. Okay, this one is for the channel.
Alright.
And this one is just the server I set up for family to be and friends to be able to talk with Zachary. And since the people in the chat I consider them family and friends, they're welcome to join up. I've also got my RPG server.
All right, I am there.
Cool. And there we go. This last one I'm posting is for the RPG server. And there it is. Boom. All three of the servers I've got set up. But anyway, guys, gals, and everybody in between, I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to hit the like button, like you're a pimp slap it, man. Pimp slap it hard, like it's one of your whores that's hiding money from you. Slap it hard, man. Boom, slap that bitch. Slap it. And like I said, don't ever think you guys are alone, because you're not. And never ever think that you're unloved, because you are loved. I love each and every one of you. And thank you guys for being here. And we'll talk later. Y'all be blessed now.